Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the Racist Driving League Season 15, and welcome to the team draw. I'm your host, Zach RC, and alongside me is my brilliant co-commentator, former champion, Season 11 champion, Touchby Pope. How you doing, mate?
Be on the different end of a driver and team reveal. It's exciting, but at the end of the day, I'm very, very glad to be sharing it with you.
Yeah, definitely. You want to tell us, are you excited for the new season? What we thinking we're going to see this time around? Of course, new game, new tracks to go to. You're looking forward to it?
Oh, it's going to be fantastic, mate. Some of these new tracks are brilliant, great for overtaking, which last year's game didn't really have because the amount of spins that most drivers were having. But the game feels fantastic, and I hope all the drivers are feeling the same way.
Yep, definitely looking forward to getting to Bahrain next week for the first race. But before that, we do that, we've got to pick everyone's teams for the new season. Right, so the plan for tonight is we're going to take turns going through the driver lineups and just scrolling through and giving you guys your teams for the season, as well as noting some past achievements for certain drivers based off of the very entertaining Season 14 on F1 22. So we'll jump right in then. I'll be doing the first one. We've got go. I'll do odds. Pope will do even. So first up, we have Websy and Cottony Goblin. So last season they were in the Ferrari, 6th place in the Constructors' Championship. Websy claiming 3 podiums over the course of the season, and Cottony Goblin making it out the pit lane for qualifying a number of times, which is always positive to see. And in terms of the team this season, the team is Williams for the brand new campaign. So of course Williams finished towards the bottom of the championship last season, so looking for Websy and Cottony to do the business for them and bring them back up the order, potentially where Williams belong. Right, so that is number 1. Pope, do you want to move on and do number 2 for us?
Of course I will. So next pairing is Ethan and PJ, who is Ethan replacing Huggy Bear, who is suddenly retired in the Racers Driving League, to partner up with PJ. Completely different pairing, but I'm excited to see what team they're going to get. So let's spin on through and let's see.
It's McLaren.
Lovely stuff, and it lands on McLaren. Wow, great team there. Obviously had a great lineup of Fan and BJ last season, so hopefully PJ and Ethan, not BJ and Ethan, PJ and Ethan, can carry on the momentum that they had last season.
Definitely. And moving on now to our next pairing, perhaps one of potentially the fastest pairings for this season, Che and Lemons. Of course, Che contended for the title last season. Between them, the pair took 7 wins and 24. 6 of them came Che's way, and one of them from Lemons, who stood in the later stages of the season, managed to take the win in Mexico, if my memory was correct. So let's have a look at see which car they'll be driving this season. It's AlphaTauri, so that blue and red AlphaTauri all-in machine will be driven by 2 fantastic pilots. Could they be the potential favourites to try and take over the mantle from Blaze and Landlord, who of course dominated the championship in the last couple of seasons? So we'll have to see if they're the drivers to do it. In terms of the next team though, Pope, do you want to take over?
So the next driver pairing is Blaze, who's our previous champion, the most successful driver in RDL history, and Sniper, who replaced me after I suffered my injury of a broken finger after a bowling ball incident. Not the best, but he very impressed. He impressed in the Mercedes, and I think this is going to be the biggest contention with Che and Lemon. So I'm very excited to see how these pairings go up against each other. But what team will be in? Well, let's go and spin and find out.
Alpine.
The blue and pink Alpine, yeah, fantastic car. It was Curtis and TJ in the Alpine last season, if memory serves correctly. So be nice to see what they can do in the only Renault-powered car on the grid.
Definitely, I must say I do enjoy the Alpine's look this season, so I'm looking forward to seeing those two take it to the track next week in Bahrain. Pushing on now to the 5th team, nearing the halfway stage now. Our next lineup being JB and Lucky Lambert. Lucky returning to full-time RDL competition. Very pleased to have him back. And last season, in terms of JB, took 3rd place in Austria and was part of that AlphaTauri team that prevailed in the race for 8th in the Constructors' Championship, after spending the majority of the season on the bottom of the table. But here they are now. He finished 8th with them last season, and let's see which team they emerge with. And it's the Ferrari, so the famous Maranello-based team will be have their vehicle piloted by JB and Lucky for Season 15. Of course, the team that finished in 6th place in the Constructors' Championship last season with Websy and Cottony. Of course, we've seen those two in the Ferrari a few times the last couple of seasons, so it's good to have some fresh faces for the Prancing Horses this season. So Pope, push it back to you now.
So probably one of the most exciting pairings, just for how different they were to every other team. It was BJ and Fab, who in the McLarens last season played some ridiculous strategies, which led them to be one of the most successful teams competing for that Constructors' Championship, which they just missed out on, which is such a shame. However, let's see what team they are going to get. Mercedes back in black, as the ACDC song goes. I cannot wait to see what these do. Obviously, my team last season, driving the silver one with Che and then Sniper replacing me, it was a good season, and it was actually the competitor of the McLaren team near the end of the season. So I'll be very excited to see how Mercedes will take these two fantastic drivers under their wing.
Definitely, of course, BJ and Fab have been a decent pair in the last couple of seasons. Of course, come home in high positions in the constructors the last couple of seasons. First, I think with AlphaTauri, and then with McLaren last season. Could this be the time they do the business and perhaps win the title? We'll have to wait and find out. So pushing on now to the next team, our next lineup being TJ and Curtis, who performed brilliantly in the Alpine last season. 5th place overall. TJ in particular picking up 2 wins and 5 podiums overall, including the reverse grid finale, which had a very, very entertaining finish at Pope. You did unfortunately miss out on that day. So hopefully won't be doing that this time around. So we'll see which team they line up with for this season. And it is the Alfa Romeo they'll be driving, so the red and black kick-sponsored car, and that'll be piloted by TJ and Curtis. Very consistent pairing. Looking forward to seeing if they can drag this one up the field towards some points. So Pope will push you on to team number 8 now.
So we've got new driver pairing. We've got Evil Scotsman returning after many, many seasons out of RDL as a full-time driver. Made a few cameo appearances at the end of the last season, but it'd be nice to see him back on the grid full-time. And we have the person who made a debut in the final race of last season, Top Cat, who did fantastic to get a points finish on his debut race. So we'll be excited to see who they get. So if we spin the wheel now, we'll have a cheeky look at who they're going to get.
And it's Aston Martin, the Green Machine.
Yeah, the Green Mean Racing Machine. Yeah, what a team Aston Martin are, British-based, and I think these two drivers are going to be very, very happy to be piloting that around, especially when it comes to Silverstone. I think that'll be a fantastic look.
Definitely, of course. Aston Martin, winner of the Constructors' Championship last season with Blaze and Landon and Pope. I believe you won the championship with them, did you not? So
yes, I did. I won the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship with Aston Martin. So it's a very successful team here in the RDL after its return.
Definitely. So I have to see if these guys can continue the legacy of the Aston Martin in RDL. Pushing on to team number 9 now, and that is Prolol and Hazard. So Motion Hazard making his full debut in Season 15. Also made his debut in that reverse grid finale last time out in Brazil. And Prolol claiming a podium last season late in the year. And also, alongside JB, battled quite valiantly to help secure 8th for AlphaTauri in the Constructors. I'll see who they come out with in this season. And it is the MoneyGram Haas they'll be driving for Season 15. So that black, red and white looking very, very good indeed on the machine. And looking forward to seeing what they can do with that car. I don't believe the Haas has won since, I believe, Season 12, in which Lucky Lambert took victory in Imola. It was something along those lines. I could be completely wrong and missing a win or two off. But at this point in time where it last strikes me, that was when, around the sort of time they were last winning. So I have to wait and see just how they get on this season. And do you want to go now to the final team for us?
Yeah, so a new driver pairing once again. Dan making his first full season back in RDL and being teammates with, well, we didn't actually know he was going to have a teammate until I think it was yesterday, where Badman came into RDL to be partnering up with Dan as the 2 full-time drivers in Season 15. So I'm very excited to see who they're going to get. I wonder who it's going to be. That's my biggest question. What team are they going to be in?
There's only one more pick left for anyone to have, and it is the Red Bull, so the real-life F1 Constructors Champions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a surprise there. I didn't think Dan and Badman being the last to draw knew what team they were going to be in, but the Red Bull looks fantastic, always is. And hopefully they can continue their real-life form into RDL.
We'll have to wait and see. I'm very excited to have 3 rookies on the grid this season. I think the last time we had a real rookie make a splash was Zach Sherman a couple of seasons ago. So, of course, he spent a couple of seasons in the Aston Martin himself before making the switch to Red Bull last season and step down for full-time driving. So perhaps we'll see him at some point. But yeah, so those are your 10 teams. So go through them one more time for you guys just before we head off. So Websy and Cotney in the Williams, Ethan and PJ in the McLaren, Che and Lemons in the AlphaTauri, Blaze and Sniper in the Alpine, JB and Lucky in the Ferrari, BJ and Fan in the Mercedes, TJ and Curtis in the Alfa Romeo, Evil Scotsman and Top Cat in the Aston Martin, Prelol and Hazard in the Haas, and Dan and Badman in the Red Bull. So, Pope, I'm not sure if we're allowed to make predictions here, but who would you, if you had to give me a pair, drivers and constructors champion right now, who would you say is looking like the early favourite?
Oh, right. So constructors, for me personally, I'm gonna. It's between the Alpine and AlphaTauri pairings. I think that's so hard to split. I think it will definitely come down to the last race of the season. I think they're so equally matched. I know Sniper's definitely improving quite a lot, and I'm a big fan. I'm a big favourite of Sniper, as I'm sure you know. But then obviously you can't forget the Mercedes pairings as well. I think it could be a 3-horse race, very similar to last season, going into that final race this season. However, I think definitely for drivers champion, I think you can't bet against Blaze, can you?
You know what? I'm going to bet against Blaze. I'm going to go for his championship rival from last season, Che. Of course, came quite close last season. Had a very solid year, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he does this time around. Although the thing is, we could be entirely wrong. It's a new game, new handling model, different cars in that respect. So I have to see just who comes out on top in the first race. We won't know for sure until we get there. But I'm very excited for this new season. I hope you guys are too. So we'll cap it off there. And thank you guys so much for coming to the team draw. The season 15 will commence next week, the 3rd of July, in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Hopefully see as many of you as we can there. And until we get underway for that one, once again, thanks so much for watching. From myself and Pope, it's goodbye, and we will see you then.
See you later, guys.
And we're out.